If you are a UK pensioner or you are caring for one, listen very carefully right now because what I am about to tell you could change how much money lands in your account this summer. I'm Henry, and the Department for Work and Pensions has already begun moving against thousands of pensioners, quietly, without a single phone call, without a personal warning. 5 separate changes are converging at once. Miss even one of them, and you could lose hundreds of pounds, lose protection you have held for years, or lose a payment altogether. Do not look away. Do not assume this does not apply to you. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which letters to open immediately, which dates to circle in red, and which mistakes are already costing pensioners their money. Here is the uncomfortable truth nobody at the DWP is rushing to tell you. These 5 changes were not announced in one press conference. They were buried across separate documents, separate departments, separate small print. The system was never built to make this easy for you to follow. It was built to move fast and to assume you are keeping up. You are not the priority. The deadline is. So let's go through this, one change at a time, starting with the one that is hitting people first. The first brutal change is the final closure of the old benefit system. For years, pensioners and working-age claimants alike have been sitting on what the government calls legacy benefits. Things like income-related employment and support allowance, income support, and housing benefit claimed before universal credit took over. The DWP has now confirmed that most of these legacy benefits stop completely this summer. If you are still receiving one of these older payments, you will be sent what is called a migration notice. Look closely at what that letter says, because from the date printed on it, you have 3 months to act. Not 3 months to think about it, 3 months to actually claim universal credit. If you let that window close, you do not just lose the old benefit. You lose something called transitional protection, the safety net designed to stop you receiving less money under the new system. Miss your deadline by more than 1 month, and that protection is gone for good. There is no second chance after that. So if you have received a brown envelope from the DWP in the last few months and you have not opened it, stop watching this video for 30 seconds, find that letter and check the date. The second brutal change is one almost nobody saw coming, and it directly targets how the DWP checks your bank account. Under new powers passed into law, banks are now required to scan their own records and flag certain account holders directly to the Department for Work and Pensions. This is being rolled out right now, starting with people on universal credit, pension credit, and employment and support allowance. Here is exactly how it works. If you receive pension credit, the first £10,000 of your savings is ignored completely. Above that figure, for every £500 you hold, the DWP assumes you are earning an extra £1 a week in income, whether you actually are or not. Cross the relevant threshold, and your bank can now report that directly, without you being told beforehand. To be clear, your bank cannot see how you spend your money, and a human being at the DWP still has to review any flag before your benefit changes. But make no mistake, the days of assuming nobody is watching your savings are over. If your balance has crept up because of an inheritance, the sale of a property, or money set aside for a funeral, check your pension credit eligibility now, before a letter arrives asking you to explain it. The third brutal change concerns the state pension age itself, and this is the one that catches people completely off guard, because it does not happen on one single date for everyone. The rise from 66 to 67 is now underway, and it moves in monthly steps depending on your exact date of birth. As an example, someone born on the 31st of July 1960 does not reach state pension age until the 30th of November this year. Someone born just a few weeks later waits even longer. If you were born between April 1960 and March 1961, your retirement date has shifted, and it is not the date you think it is. Anyone born after the 6th of March 1961 now has a state pension age of 67. Full stop. Do not rely on what a friend told you, and do not rely on what you assumed 5 years ago. Go to the official government state pension calculator and check your exact date today. Planning your finances around the wrong retirement date is one of the most common and most expensive mistakes a pensioner can make. The fourth brutal change is hiding in plain sight. Inside numbers that sound like good news, but are actually a trap for anyone who does not act on them. Pension credit has risen to £238 a week for a single pensioner and £363.25 for a couple. Attendance allowance now pays up to £114.60 a week for those who need help day and night. These figures went up in April. Here's the revelation the headlines are not telling you. An estimated 850,000 pensioners who qualify for pension credit are still not claiming it. Not because they are not eligible, because they assume their savings or their small workplace pension rules them out. It does not. And pension credit is not just extra money in your pocket. It is the key that unlocks help with council tax, free NHS dental treatment, and a free TV license if you are over 75. If you have never applied because you assumed you would not qualify, that assumption could be costing you thousands of pounds a year right now while you watch this video. The fifth brutal change is the winter fuel payment, and this is where the government has built in a financial cliff edge that very few pensioners fully understand. If your annual income is £35,000 or under, you keep the full payment. But earn even £1 over that threshold, and HM Revenue and Customs claws back the entire amount through your tax code. Not a portion of it, all of it. The qualifying week for this winter's payment runs from the 21st to the 27th of September, and if you have never claimed before, or if you deferred your state pension, the payment will not land in your account automatically. You have to apply, and here is the part almost nobody is warning pensioners about. From next year, HMRC plans to start clawing the payment back in advance rather than after the fact, which could temporarily double your monthly tax deductions. If your income sits anywhere near that £35,000 line, this is the year to get your numbers checked properly before the system starts taking the money before you have even received it. And before you think that is everything, there is one more change moving quietly through Parliament that every pensioner with a disability or every pensioner caring for someone with a disability needs to hear. From November, the rules around personal independence payment are tightening, requiring a higher score in daily living needs to qualify. The government's own assessment admits that as many as 150,000 unpaid carers could lose access to carers' allowance as a direct result. If you are caring for a partner or a parent and that support is tied to PIP, do not wait until the letter arrives. Start gathering your evidence now. So here is exactly what you need to do today. Find any migration notice letter and check the deadline date down to the day. Log into your bank account and know precisely how close your savings sit to the pension credit disregard threshold. Use the official state pension calculator to confirm your real retirement date, not the one you assumed. Apply for pension credit if there is any chance you qualify, because that single application unlocks far more than the payment itself. And if your income sits near £35,000, get advice now, before the winter fuel payment clawback rules change again. None of these 5 changes were designed to be obvious. That is exactly why you cannot afford to ignore a single one of them.